Something that I absolutely love to watch is trash talk in the UFC. And you know what? Press conferences haven't been what they used to be, not even close, but we still do get the trash talk here and there that we don't really get too often anymore. For example, the last one being Dricus Du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya. That it was to be expected, but we didn't expect it to be that good. And the reason for that was because the MMA Guru, or likely is because the MMA Guru made a video giving Dricus Du Plessis ammunition for the trash talk. And I saw that video and I was like, I would love to give my 2 cents on that. So I am officially going to be joining this. I'm going to be making videos for every UFC pay-per-view or every time we're going to have a big press conference. And I want to talk about how fighters can win at these press conferences. And I wanted to give, again, I love the idea for the video. I love trash talk myself. I think it's hilarious. I've been watching UFC for a long time, and this is something that I wanted to dive into. So I'm going to present my take for you and my gauge on the press conference, and I would love to know what you guys think down below afterwards. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. Guys, let's talk about the press conference. So I would imagine that with this press conference, we're going to have the top 3 fights. We're going to have Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopez, which unfortunately, I don't see any trash talk coming from, with Diego Lopez not speaking English and Brian Ortega. Hopefully we get some good memes from it, though, because Brian Ortega is going to be sitting there like, I'm glad you asked. I'm not good at impressions, don't get me wrong. I don't mean to, I don't want to try and be funny in that sense because I just can't do it, but it's better than just me saying, I'm glad you asked. But regardless, I could see a little bit of trash talk with Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko. I would imagine they're definitely going to be at the press conference, and I think Shevchenko might be barking just a little bit over at Alexa Grasso. And finally, we have Sean O'Malley and Merab Dvalishvili. Of course, with them, there will be some trash talk. And honestly, when it comes to Sean O'Malley, I don't think there's a ton you can really throw in Merab's direction. The big question is, are you even able to get under Merab's skin? Because he seems like a guy, I don't know, we had that video recently of him approaching the fan that was trash talking, but I feel like any UFC fighter would do that. We've never really seen Merab just get super, super angry. He seems to make a joke out of things. Look at all the skits he's been doing with Sean O'Malley. I have a hard time seeing, even if Sean O'Malley were to say stuff like, hey, you're short, like he does with Cejudo, obviously it gets under Henry Cejudo's skin, but it wouldn't if I had to assume, it wouldn't get under Merab's skin. The problem is we don't have a lot of experience with Merab at press conferences, right? The thing that I would think that he'd have a best opportunity with is to start throwing the EPO accusations. Talk about the gym, talk about Sterling, make fun of his teammates, and just say that he's a cheater over and over again, because I don't want to say the evidence, but it's strongly kind of alluded to within the MMA community that Merab is taking EPO. It would make sense. I feel like that's a way that you could really attack Merab if you want to get him a little bit angry. What Sean O'Malley absolutely needs to do, though, is honestly worry about himself a little bit more, because there's been so many times where we've seen Sean O'Malley at a press conference, and the only standout moment he's ever had was, at least my dad didn't fuck me. I know that's an easy thing, and it wasn't even like there was a lot of power to that line, but it was good timing. It was a very huge dig against a guy like Sean Strickland, right? But that's really the only thing that's ever stood out from a Sean O'Malley press conference. Sometimes and I don't know if he's actually ever done this, but sometimes it feels like he's stuttering a little bit. Funny that I stuttered when I said that, but it feels like he's not ready to just have a big trash talk moment. I feel like if he were to actually go against Sean Strickland, Sean would have won that trash talk exchange. It was just the one thing that he was able to get out there. Sean O'Malley needs to be a little bit more energetic. We've seen him at least trying a little bit, like with Kamaru and Henry Cejudo that we just saw. You can see that he's starting to put on the persona a little bit. Maybe he's getting a little bit more comfortable there, but he really needs to get a hang of that. He needs to be a little bit louder. He doesn't have that. This is the big issue. He doesn't have that dominant presence in his voice when he's talking trash. It's just oh yeah, Merab, you're short. That's it. But it's not there's no oomph to it. That's what he needs to focus on more, because he probably will have the crowd on his side. And once you start calling someone a cheater, once you start making fun of their camp, you can make a bunch of jokes about Merab and Aljamain Sterling. You could do all of that stuff, but the problem is I have a hard time seeing you really being able to get under Merab's skin unless you're talking about him cheating. On the other side of the coin, though, Merab, you have a ton of fuel. You have a ton of fuel because you have that one big bad thing where everybody's been kind of making fun of Sean O'Malley for is, the open relationship that he has. that's abnormal. It's not something that a lot of men respect. And if you're trying to get this big superstar out of somebody like Sean O'Malley, then this would be something to really take a peg down. But the problem is, Merab also isn't a guy with the social media presence that would really be able to push it out there. I know that it's out there, but that's the way, if you really want to punch O'Malley in the gut, that's the way to do it. Because what else can you say? Like, Sean O'Malley looks like a clown. That's not really going to get to him. I think we've heard those things thrown at him before, and you'll need to dig a little bit harder than that. And I know a lot of people sit down and they don't like the trash talk anymore because the trash talk gets too personal, but I particularly really like that. I find it hilarious. It almost sucks that this is the first video that I'm making on the topic because there isn't a ton of ammunition for either guy, and we don't know if Merab can even have his head broken into a little bit, but he just needs to keep saying, I'm going to make you suffer, I'm going to show everybody that you're a fraud, things like that. And Sean O'Malley obviously isn't a fraud, but Merab needs to stay composed, and he needs to, of course, keep up with the meme maybe that he's been going on with these shorts that he's been doing. Just like, oh, he spends too much time smoking, his wife goes and, does what she wants. You can dig at him that way. But again, it's a little bit difficult to get under the skin of both of these guys because we haven't really seen it before. On the other side of the coin, though, Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko. There isn't also a lot that you could really dig at. Valentina Shevchenko is probably going to say something along the lines of the draw. I won that fight. They gave Alexa Grasso a 10-8 round. That's why we had a draw. I won that fight, and the UFC wants you to win. Everybody knows I won this fight. I butchered your face. Valentina Shevchenko, she wants a trash talk. She should say things like that. Like, it's absolute criminal that you were given a 10-8 round. We all know that Valentina Shevchenko won the fight. I'm not saying like we all know that. I'm saying that Valentina Shevchenko should be saying these types of things. Alexa Grasso can absolutely win here, though. And what she needs to do is not trash talk back, be wholesome, and keep smiling because everybody loves Alexa Grasso. She's going to have the crowd on her side 100%. She's going to have her crowd on the side more than Sean O'Malley, more than Merab, more than Shevchenko, probably more than Lopez, Brian Ortega as well. Anybody on this card, I would imagine Alexa Grasso will get the biggest pop from the crowd. She needs to sit down. She needs to smile. She needs to talk about how happy she is to be here. And then Valentina Shevchenko won't be able to get one up on her. So for the other three fighters, Sean O'Malley, Merab Dvalishvili, Valentina Shevchenko, it's going to be very difficult at this press conference for all of them. Alexa Grasso has the easy road because she already has all of the fans behind her. Guys, is there anything that you think these fighters can use for ammunition at the press conference? I would love to know what you think down below afterwards. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Check out one of these two videos. At the top, we have the complete betting guide for UFC 306. And below that, we have another video taking a look at some Twitter drama in the MMA community recently. I would love to have you in either one of those videos, guys. Take care.